Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back with you for our exit interview. And today we are going to be talking with the latest player voted out of the game. That is Shauhin, who was part of the Strong Four, ends up getting betrayed by Kyle and Kamilla, and ultimately even Joe and Eva. After many weeks without the players making a big move, we get some excitement from last night, and I'm looking forward to talking with Shauhin all about it here today on the exit interview. Last night, we had on the Survivor Know-It-Alls, I thought, a really interesting discussion about this from all the different players' perspectives. Definitely check that out. And then later on today, I am thrilled that Charlie Davis of Survivor 46 is going to join me to talk through everything, because I think there's a lot of synergy between Survivor 46 and this season and how Survivor 46 shaped this season. So I hope you'll join me for my conversation with Charlie. But first, my interview with Shauhin. Looking forward to seeing what you have to say in the comments. Enjoy. Shauhin, good morning. Rob Cesternino here, RHAP. Look at you. If you're listening to the podcast, you're missing so much.
You got to come see the face too.
Yes. What is this? Where is this your home?
No. I have a buddy of mine let me borrow his podcast studio, but thought I'd throw all the stuff up that I took from the island and the bag, and of course the thing that I used to search Kyle's bag and
Yes,
everything else.
perfect. I mean, my only complaint is you're not wearing shorts and you're wearing pants today.
No, I decided you know what? We can pull them out. Don't worry.
Okay. On their way. They belong in a museum.
They do belong in a museum. Christie's
Okay.
called me. They're looking to do an auction.
Okay. Well, I hope you have a robust insurance policy on those. And then let's just get into some business from yesterday, because this was such an interesting episode. And I'm really curious to hear about your perspective on things, because we saw so much of this from the other characters' perspectives. Can you take us through the conversation that you had with Kyle on the reward and talk a little bit about what your objectives were in that conversation?
Yeah. So that conversation with Kyle was obviously a lot longer than we see. And we actually went through every single person that was out there that was remaining. So we went through why we would vote for Mitch, why we would vote for Kamilla, why we would vote for Eva, why we would vote for Joe, why we would vote for me, and why we would vote for Kyle as well. So we went through every single person and what the reasons would be to vote for them. And I wanted to do that with him because I wanted to show him why his best move would be Mitch, to convince him by telling him we shouldn't vote for Eva because we can beat Eva at the final tribal council. We shouldn't vote for this person because, and you hear me say that on television, right? We shouldn't vote for this person. We shouldn't vote for that person. It really should just be Mitch. I even talked to him about, again, like he and I, like, I'm not voting for you, Kyle, because if I vote for you, I'm going home next. If you vote for me, you go home next. Like that's the rhetoric that I was using with him to try and convince him, let's stay the course and vote for Mitch. And to also give him the opportunity to like get it out. Like, what are your ideas? I want to hear your ideas. Get them out so that I can understand where your brain is at too. He took that and did an excellent job taking a molehill and making it into a mountain. And then adding on top of that extra mountaintop, toppings of fake idols and all the other stuff that he's, coming up with on his own with some harebrained ideas.
Yeah, because the part of it that made it feel like that maybe I don't think that this is actually what your idea is to vote out Eva, because we don't see you trying to put that plan in place at all when you get back from the challenge. And so can you then take us through your perspective of when Joe comes to you and you mentioned about how it was like somebody defecated in his pancakes? And they don't even have a fancy song for that, like chicken and waffles. There's not even a song for that yet. But from your perspective, obviously, I know that you're so tapped into the vibes. You knew something was off. What did you think was going on?
To be honest, I thought that the loved one letters made him pretty emotional. Like we see a moment out there with Joe and I where I give him a big hug, and it's a very powerful moment for him to see that message from his kids, to the point where he felt like he could close a chapter on a very complicated thing that he had with his sister. And so he goes off and has that moment with his sister, has a very powerful, very raw, very real emotional moment, closing that chapter, and comes back. And then he talks to his, alliance member, someone that he'd been working with every single day, had never had more than 5 hours apart from him the entire time that I was out there. And when he comes to me, I think I did not handle that emotionality the same way that I had always handled it, which was I'm pretty careful with people when it comes to their emotionality. I definitely try to listen, but I was ready to have the strategic conversation, and he was ready to accuse me of stuff. And I was confused. Why are you accusing me of stuff? We're supposed to be having our strategic conversation. We're really close. And you don't really see that in the edit as much as it was. And so that confusion of somebody that is so close to me got in my head. And so I have this reaction of like, what's going on? And I attribute it to, oh, I'm such an idiot. The sister thing. You just did the sister thing, not Kyle and Kamilla got their hooks into you. And that's why I didn't push maybe as hard as I should have. But I was also worried that if I pushed any harder, I was going to get the emotional reaction from Joe, because he is an emotional guy. I say it when I chose him for a reward. It's one of the beautiful things about Joe. And so didn't know how to navigate that. Add on top of that, that I'm not sleeping super well, not super well fed, even though we just had reward. That thing runs through you. It literally ran through me immediately. And you have me, not making it through this perfect storm that Kyle and Kamilla sent the alliance of 3 into. And I'm the guy who ends up getting booted, walking the plank.
We saw in the episode Mitch and Kamilla are talking about your reward picks, and they're saying that these were bad picks that you ended up making. Of course, they would probably prefer if they got picked.
Sound like the people that didn't get picked for reward.
Yeah, but considering how everything went, do you think back to, you know what, I should have gone with different people?
I mean, look, if you're playing the game from my perspective, and you genuinely think in that moment, I can beat Joe at Final Tribal, I can beat Kyle, I can beat any of these people at Final Tribal, then the move, I think, is to choose the people that you think you need to keep the closest to you and make them feel close to you. Now, on top of that, when you're out there, there is that like 4 or 5 days leading up to either loved ones or loved letters or whatever, there's a conversation that happens around camp as to who's going to choose who for what, blah, 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 blah. It was very clear to everybody that I was going to choose Joe before that even happened, especially because he was the only person that was left that had kids. And you want to see your children's drawings on national television. You want your kids to see their drawings on national television. And Monday morning quarterbacking is what it is. I think that I made the right decision given where I was in the game at the moment. I don't think it really made Mitch and Kamilla mad enough to be like, now we're going to vote him out. I don't think that was the reason I got voted out. I think the reason I got voted out is because I was good at the game and a dangerous player, and Kyle and Kamilla saw that and they wanted to get rid of me. So, and not for nothing, I think everybody else would have chosen Joe too. Like, I think most of the people that were still out there also are choosing Joe. So the narrative that like, oh, you fed him and that's why he won the challenge. It's like, give me a break, dude. You're choosing the guy that had the only person here that has kids. You're choosing him. Like,
okay,
come on.
So you talked about a couple times that you felt like that you were playing a better game than Joe. Was your ultimate game plan of I'm going to get to the final 3 and I'm going to make my case? You coach debate that you are going to just out debate Joe at the Final Tribal Council. That was the plan, or was there something different?
Yeah, I mean, I write award-winning speeches every single year. I've been writing award-winning speeches, debates every single year. I am very blessed that I have an amazing speech and debate team, and this is where my brain is constantly. On top of that, if you're looking at the jury and who's on the jury, I think I have a pretty good shot with every single person on the jury. I might not have a great shot with America's vote because look at Joe. I mean, he's so handsome, amazing pecs, immaculate. They glisten like you wouldn't believe. And he's the firefighter, he's the father. And so he might win America's vote. But I think that I could win the jury's vote over anybody that was left, not just Joe, Kyle, Kamilla, Mitch, Eva, it doesn't matter, because they perceived me as the brain. Because the way that I tried to run the game was Socratic consensus building, getting people, even the people on the bottom, to feel like they were part of every single vote. You hear Mitch say at 6, he felt like he could still work with me, even though he was on the bottom the entire time. I managed that relationship to make him feel like he could still work with me. I don't think that the other people that were out there had that same ability to work with people that they weren't working with. And I think that is good gameplay. I also never said anything about honesty and integrity out there. You cannot find a clip of me saying honesty and integrity. And that is on purpose. I know that the flip that happens from honesty and integrity to the other side is a lot of anger, especially in a player like David, where that is his ethos out there. And so I think that I had a really good opportunity to win the game. And at the end of the day, like, that was confirmed when I got to Ponderosa. It's possible they were lying to me. These are people that play Survivor. But when I got to Ponderosa, I got such an amazing welcome from the people that were already there. It made everything so much easier. And they said, like, we were going to give you $1 million. We were absolutely ready to write a check for you. So I don't think that I was wrong. I think that the people that are remaining have all played incredible games. Like, they've really played different, and they can all articulate different things. And so, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think that at the time, I was the best player that was remaining in the game, and you take out that person.
So a betrayal is rarely fun, okay?
And
But when it happens to you,
killing it, Rob. Yeah.
is there one person in your alliance, your strong 4 alliance, is there one person that it stings more from out of the people who did do that betrayal?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, of course. It hurts the most from Joe, for sure. That, Joe and I were very, very close out there. We spent every day together. We had, incredibly deep conversations that were meaningful, that were about things that I haven't talked to, the closest people to in my life about this stuff. My brother, nothing. And still, to get that betrayal on me is certainly pretty hard. Kyle and I too. It was pretty tough to take from Kyle, especially even watching it back, knowing that Kyle was gunning for me for so long, and I was really just trying to work with him for so long. I knew that he was a threat, and I knew that maybe one day I would have to go at him, but we had a connection about our older brothers. Kyle has an older brother that I basically also have, just an amazing older brother who is such a huge part of our lives. But the Joe thing stings for sure.
Yeah.
No doubt.
How about Kyle and Kamilla? When you watch the episodes back, did you see things that you were very surprised to see, not knowing that when you were out there?
Yeah, certainly was surprised to see how much effort they put into getting rid of me. I am thrilled by that in a way, right? Like, that's what you want. You don't want it to be easy to get rid of you, but did not realize that I had registered for them as much as I had registered for them as a threat, or whatever reason they wanted to get rid of me. They thought I was sneaky, or whatever the rhetoric is that they use to get rid of me. But yeah, definitely surprised at how much they wanted me, and for how long they wanted me, and how long they were planting seeds to get me. All of that was surprising to me, for sure. But
Yeah.
that's the way it goes in Survivor. I also knew that people were going to be coming for me. I knew that you can't ignore this on a beach, especially when it's the only beard out there. It's like the aura is there. I knew that people would have that suspicion of me. There's a reason why you don't see me really searching for idols that much, is because I already knew that the sus would be there, and I didn't need to increase that sus level. And so you don't really see any clips of me searching, because I was at camp the vast majority of the time, just trying to play relationships, just trying to play the game.
And I think you had all these relationships. I noticed all the times then when the people that were on the bottom, and I think you have the confessional, I think, before Say goes home, of the people that the Says, the Marys, the Mitches, the Stars, the people that at different points in the game were sort of like down and out, that you potentially could have done something. Were you ever tempted to think about making a move with a potential these pieces that were just disregarded by the other players?
So I think that sometimes, you remember, we went out there after watching 46, and a lot of 46 I thought was making a move just to make a move, just to build a resume. But if the resume doesn't serve your narrative, then it doesn't make sense. And I don't know why I would work with these people on the bottom to vote out my allies when my allies are particularly loyal based, right? And on top of that, I felt that I could beat them at the end. I felt that I could out argue them. I felt that I could out talk them. And I felt that they did not think that about me. I felt that they thought I was not as big a threat as they were. I felt that they had at least a little bit of ego, or at least a little bit of delusion that they could beat me, and underestimated me. So in some ways, it's a perfect storm of my allies being people that I can beat, them thinking they can't beat me, and everybody else thinking that I should beat them. So why would I make the move against them? It doesn't make sense from that perspective. If I have Ken and Hannah and I'm sitting there like Adam, then I'm good to go. I win $1 million.
Okay. Shauhin, I wish we had more time, but I know you got to run. So thank you for all of the great answers here today. And hopefully we can connect again soon, okay?
Thank you, Rob. All this, man. This is amazing. I'm obviously a massive RHAP fan. So
thank you so much. And quick, can we get one tribal shout out?
Yeah. Oh, waka, sia no maka, here no wata, ino mao saka. All day, bro. It'll never leave my brain.
Okay.
People can
All right.
greet me with that.
Okay. All the best outside the show. Take care.
Bye, buddy.
Bye. This is RHAP. We know reality TV.